Hello, Year 3. My name is Professor Williams, and today in science we are going to be learning about light. Welcome to the lab, okay? So, I'm just going to share my screen so you too can be scientists at home and see what we are learning about today. First things first, I'm going to explain the WALT to you. This term actually in science, we are starting a new unit. Previously, we were looking at rocks, and then we were looking at the human body. This term, we are going to be looking at light. Okay, so our WALT, we are learning to examine different light sources today. Your first activity is to get the Do Now quiz. If you have a printer at home, you can print this out. If you don't worry about it. Just write down the correct answers. Okay, so can you complete this Do Now quiz? Okay, pause the video so that you can do that now. Okay, by now, all you young scientists should have completed the Do Now quiz. We can go through the answers. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to write the correct answers on this sheet. What is the name of the bone that protects the brain? The correct answer was cranium, is the name of the bone that protects the brain. The next question says, what element is needed to keep your bones healthy? You should all know this because we tested lots of different foods out, and those foods were broccoli, cheese, fish. We we didn't taste any fish. We tested some anchovies to see which had the most. The element was calcium. Okay, so calcium should be the answer that you are looking for. The next question says, what name is given to skeletons that are on the outside of the body? The correct answer to skeletons that are on the outside of the body are exoskeletons. Now, this was from your unit in Year 2. This is from last year's learning. What name is given to living things that cause diseases? Was it dirt, germs, mud, or soil? The correct answer was germs. And finally, name 2 of your senses. There are 5 senses, so you could have said sight, hearing, smell, taste, or touch. I don't mind which of those 2 that you put, but so long as you have 2 of these following senses, then you got that answer correct. Okay, moving on. We are learning to examine different sources of light. So we're going to be looking at different things that produce light. By the end of this lesson, we will know that sources are objects that are able to give out light. We will be able to categorize light sources into natural, which means that they are naturally occurring, they already exist, and man-made light sources. This means that humans have created this light source, they've made it. And we will also be able to compare natural and man-made light sources. So, moving forward, we are going to learn our key vocabulary for this lesson. I'm going to say the word, you are going to repeat it. You can look down in the corner of your screen and you should be able to see me, and I'm going to do an action that will match the word that we are learning. So the first word is emit. Can you say emit? Fantastic. Emit. And emit simply means to give out. So if a source emits light, it gives out light. Emit. Okay. Source. Source. Your turn. Fantastic. Source. A source is an object that gives out light. For example, the sun is a source. A light bulb is a source. All of these objects give out light. Okay? Natural. Natural. Natural light sources are sources that already exist without humans creating them. For example, the sun. You cannot make the sun, it was already there. It's a natural occurring source. Natural. I'm doing that because it means it was already there. We can't change it, we can't make it, it's natural. And lastly, man-made. Man-made. A man-made source is a source that humans have created. They have made them themselves. So things like light bulbs, glow sticks, those are all man-made sources because humans have created them. Moving forward, what is light? So we are looking at what is light. Light is a form of energy, and energy enables us to see all things around us. The main source of light on Earth is the sun. That is the main source of light. The sun is so important because it's used to brighten up people's days around the world. All around the world, it emits light. Lots of objects also emit light. Remember, emit was one of our key words. They give out light. And any object that emits light are called sources of light or light sources. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to show you a video. So I'm just going to click on this link and make sure that it is sharing. Let me just make sure that this is being shared. Bear with me, let me just get it up on here. I'm going to stop sharing for a second and then I'm going to share it again. Let's have a look at this video. Hopefully you can hear the sound at home. If you cannot hear the sound at home, don't worry, I'm going to put the link of this video also in the... Sorry, if you can't hear the sound in this video, then I will put the link also in the home learning pack so that you'll be able to access it from that. Lots of different light sources. You can see how fast light sources travel. Light is one of the fastest traveling forms of energy. As you can see, light was much faster than our... Light can also reflect off metallic objects. So you saw the light bounce off of that object there. Just watch that carefully again. You can see the light energies traveling towards it, bounces off. It's reflecting off of a metallic shiny surface. Okay. So let me just go back. I'm still sharing my screen. Let me make sure. Okay, fantastic. So hopefully we're able to watch that video. If you weren't, pause the video now and click on the link in the home learning tab so that you can watch that video. So we are learning about sources of light. Just to test you, make sure you've been listening all this time. You've got to complete the sentences with the missing keywords. Any object that gives out light is known as a... Pause the video now so that you can answer that question. Sorry, answer the rest of that, finish the rest of that sentence off. It was any object that gives out light is known as a... Let's see. It's known as a light source or source of light. My next sentence says, this torch is light. You can see it's giving out light. So what was that key word that we are looking for? Pause the video to finish off that sentence. Okay, let's see what the answer was. This torch is emitting light. That should have 2 T's. Oh dear, Miss Williams. This torch is emitting light. Fantastic. Now, this question, I have a question for you at home. So what I want you to do, I'm going to read the question out to you. I want you to pause the video so that you can answer it. Or you can simply shout out the answer when you know it. Which of our 5 senses do we use to detect light? Is it sight, smell, taste, touch, or hearing? Pause the video so that you can answer that question. Okay, my young scientists at home, hopefully you got the answer correct. The answer was sight. We use our sight to detect light. Moving forward, other than a torch, how many other light sources or sources of light can you think of? So I know that a torch is a source of light. It emits light, and you saw in this picture here that a torch is emitting light. Can you name any other light sources? Pause the video now so that you can have a think. Fantastic. Just to show you a few sources of light, let's get rid of that. We have glow sticks. Glow sticks emit light. Fireworks also are sources of light because they emit light. Fire is a source of light because it emits light. Traffic lights are sources of light or light sources because they emit light. Okay, here's your talk task activity. This activity, I'm going to show you some pictures. These pictures are going to be different light sources. What I want you to do is I want you to sort out the pictures into two categories. Are they natural light sources or are they man-made light sources? Okay, so I'm going to show you the pictures. If you have a piece of paper at home, you can divide that paper into two. Write down natural source on one side and man-made source on the other side. I'm going to show you some pictures now. So pause the video so that you can copy out this table. Hopefully you've copied out that table now and you're ready to see the pictures. What I want you to do at home is just write down the words. So write down the words into the correct categories. Okay? For example, over here, if I was to do torch, I would put torch into man-made source because a torch is a man-made source. Humans have created it. So I'm just writing down the words into the correct category. Okay? So the first one is bioluminescent jellyfish. So these are jellyfish that emit light, they are glowing. Is this a natural source? Does it already exist? Or is it man-made? Have humans created it? Bioluminescent jellyfish. And you can pause the video after I say each of these sources so that you can decide and put it into the correct category. Street lights. Street lights. Are street lights natural source or is it a man-made source? Lightning. Lightning. Is lightning a natural light source or is it a man-made light source? A television or TV. TV. Is that a man-made source or a natural source? Here we have a glowworm. A glowworm, and as you can see, its bottom has a light on it. Very cheeky. Is that a man-made source or is that a natural light source? Something I'm sure you've all seen recently, Christmas lights. Christmas lights. Are these Christmas lights man-made or are they natural sources? Next we have stars. So the stars in the sky that you see, stars, are they natural sources or are they man-made sources? And lastly, we have the sun. Now, I think I've already given you the answer for this one, so hopefully you were listening at the beginning of the video. The sun. Fantastic. And if you would like a challenge, you can also write down the name of any other natural and man-made light sources in the table. So pause the video if you want to have that challenge done. Fantastic. Hopefully you've sorted those all out into the correct categories. Why is light important? Light is important for many reasons. Most living organisms are dependent on light. For example, plants need sunlight to help them produce food. What plants do? Their leaves, their leaves take in the sunlight and they use that to produce food. And this process is called photosynthesis, which you will learn about when you go to secondary school. But plants need light to create food. Lots of animals need light. Cold-blooded animals require light because their body temperature cannot regulate itself. So they need to have light from the sun, so light and heat from the sun. And that heat helps to control their body temperature. It helps to warm them up. Even humans need sunlight to help them produce vitamin D. So this is particularly important in the winter. Humans need sunlight to help them produce vitamin D, which keeps their bones healthy. Okay, so you are going to do your independent task now, but before you do, I'm just going to model exactly what I want to see. So your independent task is going to look like this. This is the first section. So the first section is just examining different light sources. What you're going to do is you are going to write a small paragraph, so just a few sentences, explaining and answering all these questions. You've got to identify the source. So what is the source called? Is it man-made or natural? Does it emit heat? Is it seen inside or outside? How bright is it? And does it have a specific purpose? I will model answering all of these key questions in this paragraph. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to write on the board, and you are going to be able to see exactly how I want you to answer this question. So let me get my pen. Oopsie daisy, I don't know why this popped up. I'm actually going to type my answer because it's easier. So, what is this source called? And I'm going to say this source. Let's make it a tiny bit smaller. This source is called lightning. Stop. It is, I'm going to go into the next question, is it man-made or natural? It is a natural source of light that emits heat. So I've gone on to the next one now. Does it emit heat? Yes, it does. Because when lightning strikes objects, those objects can often catch fire. Most light sources emit heat. Okay, that means they give off heat. So if you were to touch it, it would be warm or hot. I'm going to answer the next question now. Is it seen inside or outside? And how bright is it? Lightning, let me forget to do, I forgot to do my finger space. Lightning is usually seen, I will say, is usually seen outside, and it is very bright. Does it have a specific purpose? Lightning doesn't have a specific purpose. It simply is a form of weather. So I'm just going to say that. Lightning does not have a specific purpose. It is a type of weather. Okay, and you can see from that paragraph that I have modeled answering all of the questions that I need to. So what I want you to do now is I want you to get your independent task out. You are going to answer the first part of it. So you've got two different light sources. You've got a sun and you have a lamp. And I would like you to write two short paragraphs just explaining what these light sources are and answering the following questions. What is the source called? Is it man-made or natural? Does it emit heat? Is it seen inside or outside? How bright is it? And does it have a specific purpose? Make sure you've answered all of these questions in your paragraph. Why don't you pause the video now so that you can do that? Fantastic. Okay, I'm sure you've all completed lovely paragraphs detailing the different sources of light. Now we are going to move on to the second part of our independent task, which is comparing light sources. So I'm going to now compare, I'm going to model what you are going to be doing. The second part of your sheet looks like this, and you have to compare these two light sources. So you've got to identify their similarities and what's different, and the differences. That means saying what's the same about it, what's different about it. I'm going to model doing that and show you exactly what I want. Here are some questions that you can consider when when comparing these two light sources. So, are the light sources man-made or natural? Well, I could say the lamp is man-made, but the sun is a naturally occurring light source. Does it emit heat? They both emit heat. Is it seen inside or outside? The lamp would typically be seen from inside because lamps are used inside houses or inside buildings. The sun is typically seen outside, but it's so bright that you can see it from inside. And how bright is it? Well, the lamp is bright enough to brighten a small part of a room. The sun is extremely bright and is used to brighten the whole earth. And I've used comparison words I'm going to show you my paragraph that I've actually written, that I wrote previously. And I've used comparison words in that. So words like whereas, although, whilst, both, and in contrast, just to make my paragraph sound a lot nicer. And I've used comparative words. So here is the paragraph that I have done earlier, and I'm going to read it out to you. The sun is a natural light source, whereas the lamp is man-made. The sun is incredibly bright and can light up the whole sky. In contrast, a lamp lights up a small area of a room. Although both sources emit heat, the sun emits lots of heat, whilst the torch emits a small amount of heat. So you can see that I've answered all of those questions and used all of those comparison words in my comparison paragraph, in my comparative paragraph. What I want you to do now is I want you to pause this video. Here are your comparative words. Here are the questions that you need to consider when comparing these two light sources. Pause the video so that you can do that now. Okay, my scientists, fantastic. By now you've reached the end of the lesson. You have successfully identified light sources and you have also compared different light sources. So well done. Bye.